In the last episode, we talked about songwriting, but a written song is really only its sort of infantile state. As a band, we have to take this basic blueprint of chord progression and lyrics, and then orchestrate all of the rhythms and melodies and textures and tones that make up the form in which that song is captured on a record. Just like with songwriting, this process may look different for every group of musicians. In fact, one band may employ different methods depending on the circumstances and how inspiration finds them. Fortunately, I was able to capture some of our process as we were rehearsing and recording The Devil I Know back in early 2022. That record has been out for a year now at the time of filming this, and what a journey this record cycle has been. I sat down with Ashley and some of the guys about a year ago after it came out to reminisce a bit and also discuss some of the nuances of making a record.
Most days you're stuck in a truck, one big break from blowing up. One of these days you're gonna get a bus and let somebody else drive. It's calling home for a telephone goodnight. Yes, you gotta be made for this. Made for this. You gotta be made for this.
How many songs do you think you've written?
Total?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
It's in the thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of the thousands of songs, how do you zero in on what you want to put on a record?
For me, I sometimes know as soon as we've written it that I want to cut it. I'll know whether I want to cut it or I want to put it in a batch to be pitched. And then once you've decided a couple of those, then you kind of know what direction you're heading in.
We are in the Purple Building. Sometimes it's referred to as the Co-op. And we rehearsed all the songs for the first record in this room, on this stage. Same thing for the second record. And we were supposed to just be in the studio today. But I said, no, we have to go to the Purple Room first. It's sort of like the songs get our blessing here, right?
Yeah.
They start to take shape of what we want them to be. We arrange everything together, we decide all that together, and it's good juju to do it here.
So we go from a gajillion songs to about 90. And then I try to get that down to 50 or 60. And then John Peets and I look at that and select usually about 30-ish. And then by the time we get into the Purple Building, that's what I bring to us, 25 or 30. And I know we're not going to play all of them. But that's when that songs start battling each other and raising their hand, because now I'm looking at these 25 or 30 that I've chosen. And now we're going to play them together. And I have to like it enough to ask you to spend some of our time on it. And if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no for that portion of arranging songs. And then anything that didn't make the hell yes category doesn't get another visit. Because we're going to make a record in 2 more days or 3 more days.
Right.
Mama says get my ass to church. So it'd be like, Daddy says get my ass to work.
That way they're getting both. They're getting the extra chorus and the solo without them having to compete. This is my favorite shit in the whole world. It's like we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, only it's with notes. Yeah.
When we're writing the music and we're working a song up, we try all the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them. How do you know which one is right?
It feels.
Yeah, saying I think you just know. You just kind of know when it.
You sure know when something ain't right.
Yeah.
Right. So is it more that you know when it's wrong, or like is it a stronger feeling when it's not right, or a stronger feeling when it is right?
That's a good question. I think maybe you do it wrong enough, then. Yeah.
But there was something we did to one song in the Purple Building for this record. I don't remember what it was, but we changed the feel in a big way of something. Oh no, it wound up not making the record. It was Somebody Loves You.
Yeah, it was
Oh yeah.
And we were like, oh, this will be really cool. And it was really cool. But then we're like, oh, it's just not right. And that feeling for me is stronger because you're just like, oh, like you just want to get it off your hands. Not only was the way we were treating this song not right, the song wasn't right. And the way we got to that was by manipulating it in every single way we could think of. And then we're like, it's not the right song.
Yeah.
For right now. It might be right for the next record. We don't know.
Right. Right.
A lot of times that feeling of when something is right is it just comes across as like a guttural, like just like, like
Yeah.
that's
Or
it.
you'll-
Whoops! Yeah.
Or we'll play it past and be like, yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Like, that was a cool mistake.
Yeah.
We should do that again.
Ashley, how do you feel about the day?
I feel good. I feel really good. It's hard when you're doing this many songs and you're expending this much energy for this length of time. So I feel tired, but even though we're tired, we still made good progress. You can tell, you can hear that we're tired, but we weren't disinterested sounding, so that's good. It's a really good sign.
Okay, one more time. Let's have Matt do that. You know what I mean? Like mainly percussive. Cool. But if you want to open up a little bit here and there. And then Chris, just lay out first verse. I just want to see what that sounds like. Got it. From the intro. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that feels better.
And you hear like a work tape and you're like, this is what I'm hearing, and like, where are those influences coming from?
Yeah. Blackout Betty was one that, like, when I heard the work tape of it, it just kind of had like I think you described it as like a hangover kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And so it kind of had that edginess, and for whatever reason, just the key, it felt like kind of a Led Zeppelin kind of thing. So that riff was in the Purple Building. I was just messing around with something, and I was like, "Ooh, I think that could be cool to do for that intro part." So it kind of felt like you could do something like that and still be within our genre and everything, just because of the edginess of the song. Like that riff could happen and be there.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of had that sort of bluesy, but still rock and still simple enough that it's not going to be something outlandish.
Here we go again. Blackout Betty. Blackout Betty. Blackout Betty.
I feel like the song "The Devil I Know," that's a little different for us. That's not a country song. That's not to me. That's like,
And SavingCountryMusic.com would disagree with you. They would say
Really?
that what a great country song, and they just couldn't let it be a country song. And I disagree. I think it's a rock and roll song, or it might have been Whiskey and Country Music too. That they said even Whiskey and Country Music, they can't just let it. They actually said Jay Joyce just can't let it be a regular country song. Is to be weird at the end, and I'm like, yes, it does have to be just weird. I would agree that it's a rock song, and I would agree that most of our stuff, while very heavily country influenced, is just straight rock and roll with a draw, like Chris said. And one of my favorite things about rock is its ability and its permission to depart when it comes to a solo, or that a solo is 2.5 minutes long if you need it to be, and it can modulate there, and then that could be, the bridge can be inside that. It doesn't have to be. So that was some stuff that I really appreciated that we did on this. Was what did that one article call it? Album oriented
rock.
Yeah.
Mama says get my ass to church. Daddy says get my ass to work. Doctor says I gotta give up on these smokes. Everybody's got something to say about how I gotta change my ways, but I got some.
I don't like being this close to a microphone.
I'm very much a believer that the more sets of eyes or perspectives that you have on solving a problem, which is essentially what creating is, the problem being the inspiration and the solution being the art, the more diverse minds you have working together, the more efficiently and effectively you find a solution. Working with a group of musicians with such different musical backgrounds and tastes, in my opinion, means we're taking a more direct route to a better solution than if we were 5, 6, 7 totally like-minded people trying to create something that sounds just like a specific genre. We hear sometimes totally different things when presented with a work tape, and having to communicate and navigate all of those ideas and arrive on the same page is, I think, the special sauce to our sound.
Like Cool Little Bars, that song I immediately was hearing with the like sort of jungly, and I kept saying
that you kept saying Lion King,
yeah.
and I was
I
like,
felt the same way.
and I was like, I don't understand what you mean by Lion King.
That riff reminds me of Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't know what you meant by it, whether it was the way it felt or, you know, the key it was in or whatever, that's where the trust part of this band comes in. And I'm like, I wouldn't have called that Lion King, but I want to go with it. Because regardless of what we're calling it, we can call it Purple Jelly Spoons. I don't care. This is what feels right.
I'm gonna go get us a bouzouki. What other song did you want to use bouzouki on?
I'm not positive. Like I was feeling it for Coldest Beer in Town or Cool Little Bars, but I mean, depending, I don't know. We'll see what it sounds like. I've actually never played. I mean, I know how it works, but
Jay will love that you have never played one.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bring an instrument you've never played.
Fuck yeah, man. Why not?
There's bouzouki on a few records and stuff that I like, and I was like familiar with what the instrument sounded like, but I never played one. It's really similar to a mandolin, so it's not an entirely foreign instrument to me. But I wanted to find one because I thought maybe we might use it on Coldest Beer in Town. Like that was the one that I was thinking, because I was hearing that doing, doing, da, 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 and I was hearing that on the bouzouki. So that was the whole reason that I wanted to use one for the record. Is actually found a loaner one for me, and then it like every other song, Jay was like, "Hey, play that bouzouki," and I'm like, "All right, I'll learn how to do this again." Like, so I was just learning it as I went, you know, like. And then we get to 6th of October, and he's like, "How about a bouzouki solo?" And I'm like, "Oh, how about a what?" A what? I don't even solo on the instruments I play, man.
You mentioned that you were hearing the riff for Coldest Beer in the Purple Room.
And I think when we worked it up in the Purple Room, I think I was playing it on mandolin, but like I was hearing it more, like an octave down and like more jangly and loose, and like that's when I was like, I need to get a hold of the bouzouki and try to learn how to play it for that.
2, 3.
It's perfect.
1, 2, 3, oh. 3, 4.
Chris Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
Lyric question.
What more effectively says, she said this, but the truth was such and such? Deep down, she was really unhappy? Or deep down, she was just unhappy?
Just.
I think just
I was thinking
is
that
better.
when you were singing it that time.
And because I listened to it and I was like, I'm trying to say that she was very unhappy. And sometimes when I say just, I go, she was just unhappy. No, she was just unhappy.
Yeah, and that's what I
Thank you. And today the agility's not quite as good, but also not singing it exactly the way that we.
This song should hurt.
I would say not
It should
singing
hurt
exactly.
you to say it, and it should hurt them to hear it.
Yes. Like last night when I was like, yeah, I'm tired, but this song should be tired. It's about being tired. If I had to be a dog, I'd want to be that dog.
So can you kind of tell the story that was the solo for Learn to Lie?
Yeah. So it was on the last day of tracking and everything, and they were doing vocals upstairs, and Jay's got a little room downstairs. I think he calls it hell.
Purgatory.
Purgatory, one of the two, yeah. We walk down this long hallway and it's all lit with like red lights. And then as soon as you get to the other end, there's just a tiny little like 10 by 10, another tracking room down there. And we had saved, like we had tracked the entire song was already done. We had saved the solo for another time. And so when I was down there, Jay brought a couple songs to kind of go off of that were just like classic rock, big solo kind of things. And that's where we started. And then I would do a couple takes, and then we would kind of sit there and mess with it and be like, well, what if we just did like something real simple here and then built it here, and like not necessarily stair steps, but just really had a bigger arc to it to kind of fit the nature of the song. So then I did that for probably an hour, just with different versions and variations, and Jay would come down every 20 minutes or so and be like, no, let's do this over here and let's do this over here. And then eventually we got one that was like, I had done pretty much the whole take, but there was a couple things that could be made better. So then I just like learned the whole solo and then did a bunch of different live tracking versions of it. And then that's the last one that we did is the one that made it on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Very end.
I want to talk a little bit about the vibe at the Neon Cross Church, because I think that that's a cool place to record. Are there any standout features that influence that vibe?
There's no control room, like the console and the speakers and all the outboard gear is in the same space that we track in. So you're just like, everybody's in the same room, which is really unique. And there's just so much space. Like you're essentially in the back of the church.
This record we recorded some during the day.
Yeah.
But in the past, we recorded mostly at night,
Yeah.
and they have the blackout curtains and stuff, so it's vibed the hell out.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can change the color in any of the lights. I remember when we did Southern Babylon, he made the whole room red.
How much do you feel like the vibe of the room you're in when you're making music, writing it, and recording it? Do you think that influences the music, or does it just make it more comfortable, which is sort of a catalyst for the creativity?
I think it frees you up.
I think
I think it absolutely. I think vibe in every aspect of music. I think vibe makes a difference. Like, for instance, like as a songwriter, like I feel like music should be created, played, and listened to at night. Because I as when I was writing for a living, I hated going in the morning to write because like at the end of the day, your brain has been processing information all day, and like, you know, it's warmed up and things like that, and like that kind of goes into what you're saying of like vibe means everything. Like to me, some venues will give you like, you know,
Yeah, some venues make me want to sit down and write a song.
Yeah.
And I think another standout thing about the Neon Cross is the taxidermy.
Yeah.
There's just random taxidermy.
Also, like the hundreds of just random instruments that you could just pick up and play with at any point. And even if you don't like use it on an album, on anything, like picking up a different instrument can, you know, give you different ideas.
Like you get into a room and you're already in a good headspace to create, and then the room adds this extra thing. And you're just like, okay, these ideas wouldn't have come from anywhere else. They have to come from that space. The Purple Room, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we're smack dab in the middle of a growth period.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. One of those ways is musically. So the next record, what are you excited about? A new sound or just embracing more of the rock side?
I've been worried about the next record because writing wise, we didn't get to write hardly anything in the last year. And I've made up for that. But then I just stopped worrying about it because those things happen in the order they're supposed to happen in. And me worrying about it would just cause stomach issues in the meantime. What I'm excited about, and even when you said the next record, like I got butterflies thinking about being back in the studio together because embracing is one of the things that we're getting better at. Whether it is, as I've said before, something being, oh, too country, we just embrace it, or oh, too rock and roll, we just embrace it. And I think what I'm really excited about is Jay has been to see us live since we cut the record, and his jaw was on the floor and his eyes were big, and he's like, you guys are fucking awesome. I think going into the next record, he will trust us even more, and he already trusts us to do a good job. And then I think the same could be said for us from one to another.
Yeah, and we get to take Wes in this time. You know, we have
and we've got Hooper.
Keys and utilities. And Hooper, hell yeah, man.
So it's still my favorite compliment is what a great band we are. And anytime someone says anything to me, but you're always saying we and you don't ever say I, because everything we do is a we. I go write the songs with whoever, sometimes us, and then we go into the Purple Building and we arrange these songs together. We decide which ones ultimately are going on this record. And then with Jay's help, we let them play.
Yeah, the double sounded cool too, so who knows? Let's call it a day. That was good.
Cool. Sweet.
Really good.
Really good.
Huh?
Spicing that up.
Nice.
In my mind, a song is a living thing. If you ever go see a band that's been around for a while live, you may notice that when they play their older music, it's often morphed some from the original version that was captured on tape. And that's because when we go on stage to perform this music, it's not a recital. We're not reading sheet music with specific instructions and rules. We're expressing the idea of this song. We're expressing from the heart and mind and soul, and as those things grow and change, so does the way they express. To me, an album is like a photo of a person. It's a snapshot of that body of work in that precise moment. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a profoundly important part of music's life to be recorded so that it can exist and be enjoyed long after it's no longer being performed. So I encourage you to go buy albums and familiarize yourself with them and love them, but then go see that band live in the interest of experiencing the living version of that music. See if you can spot the differences from the record. I know I'm looking forward to seeing how all of the music from The Devil I Know grows in the coming years, and I'm most definitely looking forward to capturing the next snapshot of our music as we grow as a band and as people.